Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace be unto you and peace from Yahuwah the Father and Yahusha the Messiah, his son. This is Brother David coming to you again to bring you Gog and Magog, the final conflict, and this is part 4. So we see from part 3 the promises that the Father has for Israel. These promises are only for Israel. There shall be those who shall sojourn with us, the sons of the strangers. They shall be with us, but they will not receive the promises. They will die, and their children after them will serve us for 1,000 years. This event shall go forth, and we shall not die. Isn't that something? Why do you think they put so much effort in covering this thing up? Why do you think they took you into captivity and destroyed you, stripped you of all knowledge of yourself? Didn't want you to read or study? They said that if they pick up this book and find out that this book is talking about them, that they are the children, the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that they are the pure bloodline that come from Adam that the Bible is speaking about. That's why you have all of these generations in the Bible. And this one begot that, and that one begot this, and this. It's showing you, brothers and sisters, who the pure bloodline is and who is not. He only chose Israel for himself, and he has protected us for all of these years. That's why he sent us into the wilderness. He told us to go into the wilderness in Matthew 24. When you see the abomination of desolation set up in the temple, flee into the wilderness. Okay. He told the Messiah, he told his parents, that is, to take my son and flee into the wilderness so that Herod the Great would not kill him before his time. Okay, all right. What about the tribes of Israel? They went into the wilderness. They sojourned there so that they can have sustenance and peace. What about Abraham and Isaac? They went into the wilderness. Do you know what this means, brothers and sisters? Every time the Father told them to go into the wilderness, he says, go get your sustenance and your stuff from the pure bloodline that comes from Adam. Go sojourn there. You will be like them. You shall look like them. The same way as Cain is thrust into another land and then had a mark put upon him, white skin, so that he would blend in. We didn't have to have any mark put on us because we were melanated. We had afros. We looked just like the Hamites, the pure bloodline. So this is why the Father kept telling us to go into the wilderness. Now we're going to prove that this salvation plan, that this last day, only pertaineth to the children of Israel. You won't see a church here at all. All you're going to see is the children of Israel run out of those churches and return back to Yahuwah, brothers and sisters. Redemption is nigh. You are the ones he's coming to redeem if you have the testimony of his Messiah and you keep his commandments. He said, if my people who are called by my name, if they will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will they hear from heaven. I will forgive their sins and heal the land. Well, Gog and Magog is a part of this healing. After he finishes with them, he's going to create a new heaven and a new earth, and the land shall be healed. Let's begin. Ezekiel chapter 38. Verse 14. Now remember, this is a continuation of this prophetic book. We're only down to verse 14. This is part 4. We're at 14. Listen to the word that Ezekiel is bringing forth. Therefore, Son of Man, prophesy and say unto Gog, Thus saith Yahuwah, the Mighty One, in that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, shalt thou not know it? Listen to the question that the Father is asking Gog. He said, I brought my people, I gathered them from the nations, I brought them into the land, I've destroyed their enemies, I've set them up, they are dwelling safely for 1,000 years. Don't you know that I am their protector, the Holy One of Israel? See the question mark there? Look who his people are. In that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely. Do you see a church here? Do you see any Africans, Asians, Europeans, any of that stuff? He's only talking about one bloodline, one people, Israel. Verse 15, and thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, Europe. He's telling you, he exposes everything. Thou and many people with thee, all of the other nations from Asia, from Africa, they shall all be with them, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. Remember, he said they should be as the sand of the sea, that they shall cover the land like a cloud. A great company and a mighty army. Verse 16, and thou shalt come up against my people of Israel. Do you see what he's saying here, brothers and sisters? Are they going to come up against the church? Remember, this is the end of the 1,000-year reign. Israel has dwelt safely. Now he's saying that they're going to come up against his people, Israel. Do you see the church present? Do you see any other people that they're going to come up against? The church is a sham. It's a lie. Look how many it's going to be, as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, the last days, brothers and sisters. So anyone who thinks this prophecy has something to do with past events, no. This is going to be the last days. And I will bring thee against my land. Who is he going to bring against his land? Gog and Magog, that the heathen may know me. How are they going to know him? Destruction. I love the way he speaks and the way he carries himself. He says, vengeance is mine. The heathen is going to know who he is. When I shall be sanctified in thee. How is he going to be set apart in them? When he wipes them off the face of the earth, O Gog, before their eyes. So we have no doubt now that these are the last days. We have no doubt that the people who are present in the promised land are Israel. You don't hear anything about a church. We showed you in the last segment in Revelation chapter 21 who he was talking about. Wait till we get to the end of this so I can show you for proof positive who the people are that's going to be saved. But this right here should be enough. He's going to sanctify himself before the eyes of all of the heathen and Gog and Magog. Look at this. Verse 17. Thus saith Yahuwah the Mighty One, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants the prophets of Israel? See, Ezekiel is one of these prophets who spoke in the old time about Gog and Magog. He was telling the people what would happen in the last days. I know they couldn't possibly understand what he was saying. Which prophesied in those days many years that I would bring thee against them. Who put the hook in their jaws to bring Gog, Magog, and all of his cohorts against the children of Israel. Yahuwah, the mighty one, the master of the universe, the most high. He did this. Why? To destroy our final enemies. Verse 18, and it shall come to pass at the same time when Gog shall come against the land of Israel, even if you did not know, he told you that they're going to come against his people. He's identified the people who they're going to come against. Now he's identified the location, the land of Israel, saith Yahuwah the Mighty One. Look what's going to happen. That my fury shall come up in my face. I'm scared. I'm scared for them. I've never heard this language. His fury is going to come up in his face. Let me give you an example here so that you can understand. Just think about a mother who loves her child, and she goes to a store and she puts her baby down, and the baby's running around playing, having a good time. And then some person that's in the store doesn't like what the baby's doing, so comes up and slaps the little baby. Just think about the fury that comes up in the face of the mother, the wrath of the mother. She's ready to tear that person to pieces. Not ready. She's going to tear that person to pieces. Now just think about the Mighty One, Yahuwah. He wiped out the earth because he was protecting his seed. Do you see what he's talking about here? When he gets angry, you are done. Verse 19, for in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel. Verse 20, so that the fishes of the sea and the fowls of the heaven and the beasts of the field and all creeping things that creep upon the earth and all the men that are upon the face of the earth shall shake at my presence. And the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. Do you know that in New York, you have these big skyscrapers? They're called mountains. And the roads that go up and down the avenues are called canyons. The Father says that all of these steep places are going to be thrown down to the ground. Verse 21, and I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith Yahuwah the Mighty One. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. Do you see this? He's going to cause confusion upon them. And they're going to kill each other. I love my Father. The way he does things are magnificent. Look what else he's going to do to him. Remember, his fury has shown in his face. And I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood. And I will rain upon him and upon his bands and upon the many people that are with him. An overflowing of rain, a deluge, and great hailstones. What's going to be in those hailstones? Fire and brimstone. Brothers and sisters, this is going to be unbearable for anyone. He's going to make them fight and murder each other. He's going to send pestilence and blood and rain, overflowing rain, hailstones with fire and brimstone. Verse 23, thus will I magnify myself and set myself apart. And I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah, the master of the universe. This is my God. This is my mighty one. I hope he's yours also. He is the one who shall vindicate us. He shall ultimately destroy them, brothers and sisters, because of what they have done against the children of Jacob. They are finished. They refuse to follow. They refuse to learn our ways. They refuse to give us their substance. Their God was released from the bottomless pit. He came back to deceive them into coming against him. I wonder what he could have said. What do you think he said, brothers and sisters? I mean, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is derogatory things. Could he have come back and said, "What's wrong with you people? How is it that you're serving these niggers? Didn't I give you the earth? Take it back." Remember, he was their God. He was the God of the earth. The people followed him. Even us, we followed him. Not anymore. He's going to put this evil thought in their mind. These coons, these monkeys, you're going to bring all your stuff over to them? Don't you know, Gog, that I brought my people in the land for them to dwell safely? Don't you know that? Don't you know that I am their protector, the Holy One of Israel? Yet you allowed your God to convince you to come against my people. My vengeance is going to show in my faith when I ultimately wipe you off the face of the earth. This is it for them. This is vindication. This is how the master of the universe works. Well, he doesn't seem like he's so loving and so kind. I always learn that God, he's a loving God. He's a forgiving God. Yes, he is for his people. You better wake up. He only chose one people for himself and no one else. Are you starting to get this thing? Continue to part 5.